Hello. In this series of videos, we're going to start going over Photoshop photo manipulation tools. We are going to be covering the series of tools: the Spot Healing Brush tool, Patch tool, Content Aware Move tool, and then lastly, the Clone Stamp tool. Each one of these will be its own separate video, so you could always jump to that specific video to learn how to use that tool. Which When using these tools, you can see that this keyboard shortcut is J on your keyboard. Up in the option bar, we do have the size, but we could always use our keyboard shortcut, this open and close square brackets, to the two keys to the right of the letter P. You can change the hardness. Right now, I dropped my hardness down to about 60%. And the spacing, we're going to leave at 25%. That is how it's often it refers itself as it creates the brush stroke. So we're going to keep that as is. Now, the way that this tool works, I want to go ahead and show it to you. You can see at the very bottom of my screen, I'm zooming in. I'm going to zoom in, Command or Control plus. And the way that this tool works, you see this little piece right here? I'm going to click and hold down my left mouse button. I'm going to basically just select the area around it. Just enough to cover that area, and that's it. Once you let go, ta-da, done. But before we continue though, what I want you to do, go over some of these settings. Now before you continue cleaning up your image, just to let you know what's happening, it's using content aware. It's evaluating the information around it and using algorithms to fill in that area that you've highlighted. Now this button right here, sample all layers, I have this checked on because I want you to create a new layer. This is going to be a new empty layer. You can see that's this layer, it's called layer 1. I'm going to call this one my Spot Healing Brush, because this layer I wanted to keep all of my samples or all the different corrections that this tool is going to do and place it within this layer. So I want to make sure that this new empty layer is selected. I call it Spot Healing Brush. Sample all layers is turned on. And now I want to go ahead and do this again. Now this time with this other piece right here. Now it looks like it's giving you the same results, but really if I hide my art walk layer, you can see that this layer contains only the changes that the Spot Healing Brush is doing. So as I'm moving around, I'm going to zoom in. You see this little rock? I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller. There we go. Click on it, and it's almost like magic. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller because I just want the brush, and I'm just clicking. I'm not clicking and dragging. Right here, I'm going to go a little bit larger area. And you can see this is really good for areas that need a little bit of spot cleaning. We're just cleaning up small little areas right here. So there's this chalk that's right there. I just go over it. You see this piece right here? I'm just gonna click on it. It's almost like zapping it. And all of these different changes, I like doing this like before and after. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit more, Command or Control minus, and you can see how they disappear. But really, it's keeping that information on a separate layer. Just these little dots right there. Now, when using this tool, before you start using this tool, a word of advice: if you find yourself that you are, say, shooting any image, for that matter, and you see something that when you're going to shoot the photo, you could physically remove. So, like, say for example, there's this little water bottle. It's easier to just move that water bottle before you take the photo instead of having to do more work in Photoshop. So keep that in mind. If there's anything that you can do before the photo has been shot, do that so that you don't have to do this extra work in Photoshop later on, because you're just creating more work for yourself. There's this little bottle cap right here. I'm going to highlight it. There you go. Gone. Now you can go crazy with this. I suggest that you only use this as necessary. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, say for example, should we try to remove this water bottle? Well, let's try it. I'm going to click and hold down my mouse button, and I want to just go over the water bottle. And once you let go, okay, it's all right. It's kind of messed up right here. We'd have to try to do some more Photoshop corrections. Let's see. Can we clean that up? Can we get rid of this? So yeah, at a certain point, it's just adding that same information. So your mileage may vary. So there's like an extra ridge here that it can't get rid of. But if I don't say anything, you might be none the wiser. Now, what if you're trying to do something larger, like these people over here? This guy that's right here. Let's try it out. Like I said, your mileage may vary. There are other tools that we could always also use to try to remove larger objects, but the Spot Healing Brush tool works really good on smaller areas that are easy to for Photoshop to be able to clean up. Okay, moment of truth. I have all this area selected. I let go, and hey, not bad. It gets a little fuzzy right here, but I'm sure with some of the other tools that we're going to be going over in Photoshop, we'll be able to further manipulate these. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of zoom out. I'm going to uh, conceal my Spot Healing Brush layer. This is before, this is after. Again, not bad, not bad. If I zoom out and not even say anything, you might not notice it. And that's going to be the case as you're working. Sometimes, as the artist, you know your work really intimately. It's the viewer that doesn't. So, and also don't necessarily go out of your way to point these areas out because then we'll notice them. As, oh, you know what? I could actually see it. But in this class, do tell us because we want to be proud of your accomplishments. All right. In the next video, we're going to go over the Healing Brush tool. So I'll see you there.